Last week I was talking to my close friend, roofing contractor in Texas. A couple months ago he signed up for the gym and I was following him on social media, and then when I called him I said, "You dropped out of gym, didn't you?" And he said, "Of course I did, Dmitry. I wake up before 5 in the morning and I work until 11 p.m. at night. It never ends, it never stops. I don't know how you do it. I don't have time for the gym." So in this video I put together 14 business mistakes I made as a manager in my own businesses. If you're making any of them, it's costing you money, they're stealing from your life, from your work-life balance, and there is a reason why we work too much in the business and we don't have time for anything else. Usually it's because of our management mistakes. Mistake number one, comparing yourself to others. I've done it many times. I understand that you're probably a hardworking guy. Hardworking people usually like to compare themselves to their employees, to their competition. We think we're the best of the best. I'm the most competitive person you'll ever meet, but workplace, especially when you employ people, has no place for that. You cannot compare yourself to your employees. Nobody in your business is supposed to work as hard as you do. It's your business, not theirs. You have to motivate them, you have to support them, but you cannot compare your work ethics to their work ethics. If they would have your work ethics, they probably shouldn't be working for you. They probably should go on their own and start their own business. Mistake number two, doing it all by yourself. I remember when I was installing floors for my first construction business, it was 10 years ago. If you would work for me back then, the only thing you would be allowed to do is to open boxes, sweep the floors. My mentality was that I'm the owner, I sold this job, every single board on the floors I have to install. A lot of people who come to my classes, they say they cannot hire salespeople because they don't know how to trust them. They feel like they have to sell every job. You'll never be able to scale if you're gonna keep trying to do it all yourself. You have to give up control. Mistake number three that roofing business owners almost never do, they don't create a process. I understand that in your head, you know what needs to happen. You sell the job, you order materials, you pull a permit, you call the crew, you call the homeowner. What comes natural to you, it doesn't come natural to other people. You have to lay the process, you have to explain to your employees what the process is, how you roll, how your company rolls, because your way, it's not everybody's way. We're all a little bit different. Create a process early on, and then people who follow you will be able to follow your process as well. Mistake number four, assuming that other people just all of a sudden somehow know what they're supposed to be doing. I see it all the time. You know, business owner comes in and is like, "Well, why you didn't pull a permit? Why you didn't do this? Why you didn't schedule a dumpster?" Well, if you didn't create a process, don't assume that your employees, just because they're in construction industry, maybe even they have 10 years experience, what other companies are doing, it's not what you're doing. Like, you have to explain to them what the process is and never assume that they just know what needs to happen on a daily basis. On the other note, mistake number five is overcomplicating process. I see companies who've been in business for 20, 30 years, and you walk in their office and you don't understand why it's so complicated. Process have to be easy. Always minimize. Recently, one of the guys I follow on social media talked about it, and he said if a child, 7-year-old child, does not understand your process, it's too complicated. Ask yourself, is it easy to understand, or if there's way too many steps? Don't overcomplicate your process. Mistake number six, I'm guilty like no one else, is yelling and raising voice. You should never be yelling at your employees, at your subs, at your vendors. Every time you raise a voice, you're showing sign of weakness. In the workplace, there is no room for yelling. You have to learn how to stay calm, maybe even lower voice, and trust me, it's way more efficient to be calm. And if you do feel like yelling, just walk away. Maybe take the rest of the day off. That's what helped me a lot. Every time I felt like I have to yell at somebody today, I'm just clock out, gonna work from home, because I would be driving people crazy, and I think that I lost more employees to my temper, yelling, or being aggravated with people more than any other reason. Mistake number seven is giving a little bit too much freedom to employees, especially if they are good, because you feel like if you're gonna start creating more rules for them, they're gonna quit. It's very hard to find employees, so bosses stopped complaining. So if somebody is on the phone too much or they come in late, there's nothing I can do about phones. There's nothing I can do about them being late all the time. It's just how it is. No, it's not how it is. You have to have rules, they have to follow them, and you have to make them accountable. Which leads me to mistake number 8, not making your top rock star employees or sales guys accountable. So if you have somebody in your business who generates a lot of revenue, maybe phone calls, maybe I don't care what they do, it doesn't really matter. They're killing your culture if they're not accountable. And it happens to 80% of roofing businesses out there. We hire a sales guy who brings us $3 million a year in business, and no matter what he says, what he does, he can have fights with the owners, he can disrespect other people, he gets away with everything. That's a mistake. I don't care how good they are, you have to make them accountable, otherwise they're going to keep killing your culture, and culture will help you to scale your business, but that toxic employee or toxic rock star will kill your company, and what's going to happen when he's going to quit or you fire him at the end because you cannot keep up anymore. Make him accountable, and if he's going to go, he shouldn't be there in the first place. Mistake number 9 is going to be controversial for a lot of you guys. I understand it. Putting your employees first versus putting your customers first. I see it all the time where teams get together, sales guys, business owners, and they pretty much complain how bad homeowners are. So you as a team have to serve your customers, and what I see happening a lot in this business owners, they always take sides of their employees, especially sales guys. So sales guys comes in and say, well, this homeowner is a jerk, I don't want to work for him, I don't want this job, and he's not reasonable. And business owner would go like, oh yeah, okay, you can be picky, don't work for them. How about learn how to please the customer? If you don't have the customer, you don't have employees. Funny story, I remember when I was working at the deli department 15 years ago, I was making like $6 an hour. We just made like guacamole, and I didn't even think about it, but I tried guacamole and I dip spoon twice. I didn't realize that I did it, but the customer seen me doing it and talked to my manager. Manager took me in the back, and I almost lost my job that day. This is exactly what I'm talking about. He didn't come to me and say, well, this customer is picky, we need you. No, that's not how it works. Your customers first, your employees second. You're always going to have hard customers, but you still have to please them. And a lot of roofing businesses, they start teaming up against customers, and it creates very dangerous culture where it's your team and customer service is no longer taking place. Pretty much you work on the jobs that you guys are comfortable, and you walk away into way too many jobs. Mistake number 10, it's micromanaging. We're all guilty of that at one point of your life. The best tip I ever got in business is, Dmitry, walk away and let it rain. That's the best tips I ever got in my life, and that helped me a lot. Right now, I travel every week. I'm in my business sometimes 10 hours per week. I learn how to not micromanage, and my business starts scaling from that point forward, but it was not always easy. In the beginning, it was hard. I understand that your employees will screw up. You have to let them screw up. You have to let them make mistakes and learn from their mistakes. If you're there just micromanaging, make sure it's all perfect, it'll never be perfect without you. Because of micromanaging alone, you're gonna make almost every mistake I mentioned in this video. Mistake number 11, not hiring people smarter than us. I personally like to hire people 10 times smarter than me. Right now, like at Roofing Insights, guys behind the camera, he is better than me in editing videos. It doesn't hurt my feeling. My receptionist is better at spelling and putting data down. My sales manager should be better than me in sales. I'm okay to being the dumbest person in business, if you will, as long as my business keeps growing. But what I see, a lot of business owners, they're not comfortable with people smarter than them because their ego is so big, and they always try to find somebody on a level lower. You don't want to know better about accounting than your accountant, right? Like, your accountant should know numbers. Hire somebody who you will respect. They will respect you for something different. They will respect you for building a business. Make sure you hire people smarter than you. Mistake number 12 is also very, very big in the roofing industry. I see it all the time, and because of this mistake alone, I see a lot of companies collapse. It's where a business owner takes way too much money out of the business. It kills culture. People will judge you, your employees will judge you, they will see, hey, why he's taking so much? You want to make sure your business is functioning really well. You want to make sure it's marketing covered, bills covered, lights are covered. I'm guilty of that. For 3 years, I stay super humble. I pay myself minimum wage. On the 4th year in business, I decided to go on a spending spree. I got nicer house, nicer car. My thought behind it was, you know, if I cannot afford a couple things in life, I don't know why I do business anymore. I remember like one Friday we didn't have enough money to cover, you know, payroll with the subs and everything, first time in a long time. I was not comfortable. It was definitely a mistake, and I would highly recommend you stay as humble and pay yourself as little as you possibly can until you build really good business, and then just take a raise. Because if you do take too much money, it'll kill the culture and potential will cost you your business. Mistake number 13, once you start growing, you might be tempting for not being available. You feel like, okay, I've done it all, I built a business, now they have to go and figure it all out. As a business owner, you always have to be available to your team. You're gonna become a firefighter. Every single day, you're gonna clean your business from the mess, and you're gonna be putting up fire. Don't make mistake of hiding behind the desk, hiding behind your people, not being available, saying, well, I have managers for that. No, you have to be available for legal actions, for customer complaints. There's some stuff in your business that only you can do, and be there for it. And the last one, mistake number 14, is not training your people. It's your full-time job to train every employee or set up a training. You don't have to do it yourself. Maybe you train manager and teach him how to train people under him, but you have to train employees. Just because you hire a production manager who was in production manager for a different company doesn't mean that you don't have to train him. You still have to train him on your processes and on your company. Those are my 14 mistakes. What did I miss? What mistakes have you made? I would like to hear from you. Comment below. Maybe you didn't agree with me. Totally fine. Still would like to hear from you. Give me some likes if you like this content, if you want more of them, maybe some topics for future videos. I'll see you guys in the next video.